Sometimes I think the most affluent and powerful countries of the developed world are like the realm the gods described in the Buddhist teachings. The gods are said to live lives of fabulous luxury, reveling in every conceivable pleasure, without a thought for the spiritual dimension of life. All seems to go well until death draws near and unexpected signs of decay appear. Then the gods' wives and lovers no longer dare approach them, but throw flowers to them from a distance, with casual prayers that they be reborn again as gods. None of their memories of happiness or comfort can shelter them now from the suffering that they face. They only make it more savage. So the dying gods are left to die alone in misery. The fate of gods reminds me of the way the elderly, the sick, and the dying are treated today. Our society is obsessed with youth, sex, and power, and we shun old age and decay. Isn't it terrifying that we discard old people when their working life is finished and they are no longer useful? Isn't it disturbing that we cast them into old people's homes where they die lonely and abandoned? Isn't it time also that we took another look at how we sometimes treat those suffering with terminal illnesses like cancer and AIDS? I know a number of people who have died from AIDS, and I have seen how often they were treated as outcasts, even by their friends, and how the stigma attached to the disease reduced them to despair and made them feel their life was disgusting and had in the eyes of the world already ended. Even when a person we know or love is dying, so often people find they're given almost no idea of how to help them, and when they are dead, we're not encouraged to give any thought to the future of the dead person, how he or she will continue, or how we could go on helping him or her. In fact, any attempt to think along these lines risks being dismissed as nonsensical and ridiculous. What all of this is showing us with painful clarity is now more than ever before, we need a fundamental change in our attitude toward death and dying. Happily, attitudes are beginning to change. The hospice movement, for example, is doing marvelous work in giving practical and emotional care. Yet practical and emotional care are not enough. People who are dying need love and care, but they also need something even more profound. They need to discover a real meaning to death and to life. Without that, how can we give them ultimate comfort? Helping the dying, then, must include the possibility of spiritual care, because it is only with spiritual knowledge that we can truly face and understand death. I have been heartened by the way in which recent years the whole subject of death and dying has been opened up in the West by pioneers such as Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and Raymond Moody. Looking deeply into the way we care for the dying, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross has shown us, with unconditional love and a more enlightened attitude, dying can be a peaceful, even transformative experience. The scientific studies of the many different aspects of the near-death experience that followed the brave work of Raymond Moody have held out to humanity a vivid and strong hope that life does not end with death, and there is indeed a life after life. Some, unfortunately, did not really understand the full meaning of these revelations about death and dying. They went to the extreme of glamorizing death, and I have heard of tragic cases of young people who committed suicide because they believed death was beautiful and an escape from the depression of their lives. But whether we fear death and refuse to face it, or whether we romanticize it, death is trivialized. both despair and euphoria about death are an invasion. Death is neither depressing nor exciting. It is simply a fact of life. How sad it is that most of us only begin to appreciate our life when we are on the point of dying. I often think of the words of the great Buddhist master, Padmasambhava. Those who believe they have plenty of time get ready only at the time of death. Then they are ravaged by regret. But isn't it far too late? What more chilling commentary on the modern world could there be than that most people die unprepared for death as they have lived unprepared for life?